There was no collusion on my side, I can tell you that. I had no idea how right I was because I didn't realize it would be to this extent.
Yeah.
But I always said this was an excuse for losing the election put out by the Democrats.
Thank you.
That's what it was.
Thank you. And it's clear to Trump. It's clear to any Trump supporter. That's why they hit this so hard. They just could not stand the mere fact that Trump won because I think they realized sooner or later this stuff was going to come out and crap was going to hit the fan. Crap was going to hit the fan. I wouldn't be surprised if you get the Clintons heading out on a plane and out of the country someplace on a desert island, relocating or something like that, just getting out of the country. That would probably be the best thing at this moment, seriously, before they get locked up. Would Hillary Clinton, Bill, just get on a plane? I know they don't like each other, but maybe they go their separate ways, separate countries. That would be a great idea. Peter King, Congressman Peter King, what's your role into this investigation? A lot of people have been asking. Please let us know.
I am chairman of the subcommittee that has jurisdiction over the FBI and the Treasury Department. So Chairman Nunes has designated me to lead the investigation from the Intelligence Committee side. And then we're going to do this jointly with Trey Gowdy's committee, and Ron DeSantis is going to be the lead, for their committee. So it'll be DeSantis and I will be spearheading the investigation. It's going to be a joint investigation, joint inquiry carried out by the Oversight Committee and by the Intelligence Committee.
The gag order, Congressman King, has been lifted. What do you expect to hear from him?
Well, if any of these allegations that he's reportedly made are true, we're talking about a very, very serious matter here. First of all, was there an FBI investigation being carried out? Had it been opened up? What was his role in it? Secondly, if this investigation was being carried out, was this brought to the attention of the administration? Back in 2010, I sent a letter to the Secretary of the Treasury saying I was opposed to this uranium deal. I had no idea there was corruption. I just thought it made no sense to be giving 20% of our uranium supply to a Russian government-owned company.
Yeah.
I was assured that all the investigations were being done properly. Well, if the FBI told them, Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of State, told the President, told any of them that all this corruption, this bribery, this conspiring, this influence peddling was going on, how could they have possibly gone ahead and awarded this contract? So that, to me, is the ultimate question. How extensive the investigation was, who was told about it, and if they were told about it, how could they possibly have gone ahead with what was a bad deal in the first place?
Yes.
And also, then, there's the issues about the Clinton Foundation. The apparently informant has told people that was part of the Russian plan. Now, whether or not the Clintons were aware this was all part of a plan or not, that's a different story. But all this has to be looked into. So you're talking about Russian influence in an election, Russian influence in the government. If what the informant is alleged to have said, if any of that is true, then we're talking about a massive intrusion by Russian conspiracy into our own government. And it could well have been unwitting by people in our government, but it was massively being carried out.
All right, Peter King this morning on Fox and Friends. That's where that clip was used, and used by permission with Fox News Channel. Folks, this is not a nothing burger. This is absolutely something. Because Hillary Clinton, and if Hillary Clinton says, "Oh, this is nothing," it's something. She's just trying to make anybody that thinks anything of her in a high regard to not feel negative towards her, feel negative. She knew plenty. She'll deny it to the very, very end. But I think there's attachments to it. Obama certainly knew about it. Listen, how do you, right, as Peter King said, how do you... uranium, folks, you don't just cook this stuff up in your cellar, all right? And we gave stockpiles of this stuff to Russia, 20%, that's a lot of uranium, ladies and gentlemen, a lot. Why in the world would we give up that control? That's gonna be the biggest questions. And then the dossier between the two, and then the Clinton Foundation, all this stuff's just tied together. It really is. You want to talk about any kind of collusion with Russia, blame the Clintons, and Obama, he certainly knew too. Okay, what's the deal with this hydrogen bomb over in North Korea? Our news feed at forthepeopleshow.com. By the way, if you ever want to find out what I am talking about, online. You can do that at forthepeopleshow.com. There's a news thread that you can read what we're talking about, both hours 1 and 2. So that way you kind of just know and read along with us. But it will talk about the story in a little snippet there, and then you can listen to the audio a little bit later on here. But North Korea's foreign minister warning of a possible atmospheric nuclear test over the Pacific Ocean. Now, they say this should be taken literally. And who is this? A senior North Korean official was telling CNN in an interview that was airing Wednesday, which would be yesterday, a senior North Korean official. Now, the foreign minister is very well aware of the intentions of our supreme leader, so I think you should take his words literally. This is Ru Yong, a senior diplomat for North Korea's foreign minister. There's another one from North Korea, not the South, but the North. North Korean Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ri Yong Ho, said in September that Pyongyang may consider conducting the most powerful detonation of a hydrogen bomb over the Pacific Ocean amid rising tensions with the United States. The minister made the comment after President Donald Trump warned that North Korea, which has been working to develop nuclear-tipped missiles capable of hitting the United States, would be totally destroyed if it threatened America. So our CIA chief, Mike Pompeo, said last week that North Korea could be only months away from getting the ability to hit the United States with a nuclear weapon. Experts say that an atmospheric test would be a way of demonstrating that capability. And all of North Korea's previous nuclear tests have been conducted underground. Trump next week, as many of you might know, and if you didn't know, he's going to be making a trip to Asia, which he's going to highlight his campaign to pressure North Korea to give up its nuke missiles. But many people don't think that that's going to do anything else. And like I have said, I just get this feeling that when Trump is over there, he's going to, well, in 30 days, a little over 30 days, Pyongyang has not, this has been the longest time where they've refrained from blasting off any missiles. It's been a little over 30 days. And they've been blasted, 2 or 3 off a week or every other week. But it's over 30 days, and I'm believing that they're going to save a good launch for Trump when he's over there. I don't think it's going to hurt him or our troops or anything like that, but I think it's going to be over the Pacific Ocean. Probably towards Japan or over Japan like last time, sending the poor Japanese running into the subway systems. Because that's what they do. They get underground. Alarms start wailing. If you were around during World War II, if you remember taking duck and cover in the 60s, I wasn't born yet, under your desk, this is the kind of things that they do over there. Very unnerving. The U.S. Navy said yesterday that a third aircraft carrier strike group was now sailing to the Asia-Pacific region, joining 2 other carriers, the Ronald Reagan and Theodore Roosevelt. Navy officials said that the Nimitz, which was previously carrying out operations in support of the fight against Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, would be ready to support operations in the region before heading back to its home port. It's said that the movement had been long planned. And the leading South Korean opposition figure, Hong Jong-fil, head of the conservative Liberty Korea Party, told Reuters in Washington yesterday he backed Trump's tough stance. Hong said that he had met with members of Congress and the administration and told them a majority of the South Koreans wanted U.S. tactical nuclear weapons, which were withdrawn from the Korean Peninsula in 1992, returned, or for South Korea to develop a nuclear capability of its own. And he says the only way to deal with the situation is by having a nuclear balance between the North and the South, said Hong, the runner-up in South Korea's 2017 presidential election. It'll be interesting to see what is wrought from that. But it does seem that we're readying up, gearing up. Some people just say, well, that's just protection, for Donald Trump. That's a lot of protection. We don't do that when Trump goes to Saudi Arabia. We don't have 3 carriers sitting right outside the door, so to speak. They're feeling that he would be capable of probably doing something to flex his muscle. I mean, that's him. Let me show you my power. When Trump's here, we're gonna launch a missile. It's not funny, but it's funny if you know what I mean. It's a sick world that we live in, and unfortunately, weapons of mass destruction are in the hands of a madman, a rogue leader, a killer, a psychopath, a menace to the Korean Peninsula and to the world. And we know that he is capable of launching these missiles to the United States mainland, and the threats of a ballistic missile, going out, or an ICBM with the ability to knock out our electricity, that would be worse than any hydrogen bomb. That would be worse than any nuclear bomb. A nuclear bomb, the radiation would kill people. But the EMP, it wouldn't take a whole lot. Over our atmosphere, boom. And then the electricity's out. Lights out. Ted Koppel. You got to read the book. Get it on Amazon. Cheap. Ted Koppel's Lights Out. Really well researched. I don't like his politics, but he did research on this book. And it makes you freak out a little bit. That's why you hear me talking about preparations and preparedness. And many of you failed the opportunity to be able to order the Survival Guide 2 when we were touting that, Chuck's latest installment of Survival. We sold, a lot of them in the beginning, but it feuded out. People become complacent. Nothing's happened. It's just all talk. Yeah. You know the story of Little Red Riding Hood, don't you? And the big bad wolf? Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? There's big bad wolves out there, folks. Like it or not, there's bad people, bad players in our world, and nobody is going to take better care of you than you. Not the government. And for some of you, not your immediate family. Some of you, you can't rely on your brothers or your sisters. Some of you are lucky to be able to have that relationship, but unfortunately, there's a lot of families that are not so close. Food? Get out of here. You'd go hungry before you get food out of some of your family members. I've heard stories. It's terrible. So you got to rely on yourself. You're going to be knocking on your neighbor's door because you're going to be probably met with a shotgun. So if you can stock up on something just for eventualities, it's a smart deal. Trust me. Be ready. Rosie O'Donnell, we haven't heard from her in a while. Remember when she said that before the election, if Donald Trump should become the president, that she was going to head north? Well, she never moved to Canada, but now she's come up for a little bit of air, and she was telling W Magazine that she was in severe shock when Trump won, and she went through a lot of therapy. I guess she probably went to New York where de Blasio put those safe rooms in. She says, I was in pure, unadulterated shock, as if I had fallen through the ice on a lake. I was underneath the water, and I couldn't even see the surface, O'Donnell told the magazine. She said, it was a severe shock to my entire essence and my beliefs in the order in the world, and also the PTSD of having been an abused kid in my family. Oh, you poor little thing. Oh, I feel so bad for Rosie O'Donnell and anybody like you. I just couldn't resist myself. This is for you, Rosie, with love.
Blame it all on our roots. We never wore boots, never once played in the street. feel very bitter, get our news off of Twitter, and just can't handle defeat.